I remember when I was going really, really hard on self-improvements, I'm waking up and I used to meditate for 20 minutes right away. When I'd finish meditating, like on my bed, I'd grab my journal and then I'd journal 5, 10 things that I was grateful for. I'd get into the shower, I would do a cold shower, brush my teeth, everything, go eat, and then I would go and train first thing in the morning. I'd run over to this tree, basically, and I'd set up sort of gymnastic rings, like exercise equipment on the tree, and hit that like first thing in the morning. Come back, get more protein, meditate another 20 minutes, learn, and usually around this point, it's like 12 o'clock. I've kind of done all the self-improvement habits. Kind of done it all. Like I've meditated, a gratitude, I've exercised and stuff. And I used to wonder to myself, like, what else am I supposed to do at this time? Like I actually had more free time than I realized. And, I was trying to figure it out and I was like, oh, maybe I can like try like, learning an instrument. So I think I bought like some random instrument, like it's called like a kalimba. Basically, it's like a tiny little African piano or something. I bought that, and yeah, it's kind of fun, whatever. But I was like, yeah, it's kind of fun, but like I want something else. I've got free time. I want to do something that's productive and helpful, but I couldn't think of what it was. I can only exercise for like an hour or two a day. I can only meditate for like an hour a day, right? I was meditating for an hour a day. I can't add much more to that, right? I don't want to either. Like it's kind of boring, right? So I had solid few hours extra, and I'm trying to figure out like what do I fill up my time with. I figured it out. Business. You see, the desire for business and entrepreneurship was already in my mind. I love the idea of not working like a 9 to 5 and instead having a business with my own customers, and I'm like the business owner and everything. I just didn't really realize that that was a fantastic vessel to sort of free or to spend my free time that then would keep me busy enough. So then I'm like, I'm researching all these businesses and everything, and I end up going all in on YouTube and coaching as well. So basically I was giving like self-improvement advice to guys who wanted to like pay me basically. And then my day starts to look different. I wake up and I would meditate 20 minutes and still gratitude journal and still take the cold shower. But then instead of going to the gym right away, I would go and do like 2-3 hours of work first. Then I'd go to the gym. Then I'd come back and do the same 20 minutes meditation. And then I'd do a solid 1-2 hours of work. I'd read, I'd learn. I love that time of, just reading some like self-improvement book. I personally really enjoy them. They get a lot of hate online for some reason. Like a lot of people hate on like self-help books, but I personally enjoy them, right? So I'd read for like an hour or two and I'd learn watching like some educational YouTube videos and stuff. And then I'd spend another 1 or 2 hours working. I'd be making YouTube videos, I'd be writing the scripts, I'd be recording the videos, I would be working on my business, which was like self-improvement coaching. So I'd hop on like a Zoom call with someone who paid me like $50 to spend like an hour listening to them and like giving them my advice on their situation. And I was so much more fulfilled living like this than I was just a few weeks earlier when I was just doing the self-improvement stuff without the business. What was interesting is I delayed starting my business because I kept on saying to myself, like, yeah, but money's not even that important, like money's not everything, like health is more important. And one day it just hit me, I was like, well, yeah, sure, like you are right, money's not everything, but like, why are you being a fucking weirdo? Like, why not make some money too? Like, money doesn't have to be the biggest part of your life, but it is still an important part of your life. And so I was thinking to myself, yeah, like, why not start making a few $100 a month in like a cool little online business? I just thought to myself one day, like, I bet I'd feel proud for doing that. When I started the business and I started to literally make like $50 an hour, which for a 21, 22-year-old is fucking amazing, isn't it? Think about it, 22-year-old making $50 an hour from his own business as well. I thought that was so cool. So I'm getting these clients. And here's the thing, the making money and getting the sale felt awesome. It was like such a stunt when I'd see the notification and I'd screenshot it and I'd maybe send it to a friend or something. But the biggest part that really made a difference was that doing the business, using that to fill up my free time, fulfilled me because it gave me like another thing to basically make progress on. You know how like you added the gym and like weightlifting into your life, and it added like so much hope and sort of pleasantness and like positivity to your life because you've got like a goal you can make progress on. adding business in was like another like gym set block of the day, where it was like, oh, this is something I can make gains on, the same way that my biceps can get bigger, and when my biceps get bigger I feel like proud of myself because I put in the work for that. When I used to see not so much the money, but when I used to see the results of my business, that's when I would feel the same pride as like having a pump, where basically I'd see like a comment on a YouTube video of someone saying like, oh, that was a really good YouTube video, this video changed my life or something, and I'd feel really proud of that. I was like, I did that. I could have been sitting around just, consuming content or something, or, just wasting time, but I produced something that helped someone else. I would go on one of these self-improvement calls with someone, and maybe they'd text me afterwards saying like, oh, I feel so much better, the advice you gave worked, I told the girl how I feel, and now we're dating, or whatever like the topic I teach someone was. And I would feel so proud of myself. I was like, I was just sitting around basically doing nothing, saying that, oh yeah, I'm just like consuming some content and I'm learning and stuff, but I just changed this young man's life because I just decided to start the business. So today in a Discord call, basically I have like this free Discord service, the top link in the description, you can join if you want. I hopped on one of the calls there, like I just hopped on for free, like in one of the group calls, and I was just speaking to like the boys in there, and one of them asked me like, oh Hamza, like, I've got so much free time, I wake up, I go to the gym, I go to school, I come back, but I've still got like a few hours of the day, like what would you recommend? And I think before he asked this question, someone had even said the phrase of like, oh, but business isn't even that important, like money's not even that important. And I said, yeah, someone said that before. I disagree. If you've got a few hours of the day that's free, why not just harness your motivation for money and status and think, yeah, fuck it, let's start a little business. Let's see, can you make $1 in the next week, your first dollar? Can you make $500 in the next month? It's such a cool goal. It's like saying, like, can you reach 60 kg or 100 kg bench press? It gives you something to strive for. And even if you're not super money motivated, you're not very materialistic or something, totally, but you can't deny that it would be nice to be able to make like a little bit more income to help your family and everything. It would be nice if you saved up a few $1,000s. You'd be able to go travel some country for like a month and go make some memories that you'd look back on when you're like 80 years old, right? It would be nice, right? So that's what the recommendation I'd give to so many young guys. If you've got free time, understand that you should spend it on something that's productive. A lot of guys like to think, oh, I want some free time so I can like play some video games and I can, just rest and unwind. And to that, I'd say like, that's not a good way to live your life. There's a quote from the Bible, which is, idle hands are the devil's workshop. What it means is, idle hands, like basically hands that are not working, like a person who is not working can be influenced by the devil. Because when you are not busy, when you are not working on something that means a lot to you, that's when degeneracy seeps in. That's when you've got the chance to accidentally start jacking off again and fapping and playing video games, and you end up getting into a rut and you miss your bedtime. Because truthfully, all the guys who do say to me like, oh, but Hamza, like, I want to play, like, I want to rest at the end of the day, I've got some free time, all of them will admit, because you like unwind at the end of the hard day, you end up missing your bedtime so much more. You're not going to miss your bedtime when, for example, you're like meditating, right? You're going to go to sleep on time when you meditate, because it's not super fun or stimulating. The same with like working, homework, business, whatever. When you spend your free time on like degenerate habits like video games and everything, you end up like harming yourself, creating a worse version of yourself, frying your dopamine receptors. And as much as you'd like to say like, oh, but it's free time and stuff, I would actually urge you as a young man to not have any free time, which I know that sounds crazy. There's going to be some people thinking, oh, this is hustle culture and he's working too hard. No, on the contrary, like I get better sleep than the guys who say that I'm like part of the hustle culture narrative. I meditate more, I spend more time with loved ones than most people do. So I'm not saying like don't take time off. I'm saying the time you have, do something worthwhile that's significant with it. That doesn't just need to be work. It can be calling your mother. Yesterday, I called my mum and then I called my dad straight afterwards, and it was like so wholesome to speak to them. Imagine if I just saw it as free time and I was like, yep, on my free time, I'm going to go watch a TV show. That's the waste. That's what I'd recommend to like basically never do again. No anime, no movies, no video games, no porn, no Netflix, no junk food. Stop all of that and you create such a big amount of free time that then I tell you, figure out your craft, or at least go try and find it. See if you can become a video editor. See if you can help people by giving them advice or listening to them. See if you can hold people accountable. Start a little business where you'll literally say, okay, I'll hold you accountable to your goals and I'll text you every day to remind you. And just see if someone will pay you like $50 an hour for that, for 50, $100 a month for that. And imagine how hype it would be when you get your first sale and your 10th sale, then you scale it up and you're on 1K, then 2K. And like, let's say you get to 5K and you can basically travel the world now doing what you love. That's where you should spend your free time on. Be very careful. Like, if I can give a message to my younger self, be very careful with the idea of like, oh, but I've kind of worked hard, I went to the gym, so I'm going to unwind and just enjoy myself, because you will never look back and be like, you know what, I'm so glad I watched that TV show. Think about that for a second. You will never ever look back. There's a 0% chance that you will look back when you're like about to die saying, I'm so grateful that I consumed all that content. There's a 0% chance. But there's a big chance that where you say, I'm so grateful that I figured out my craft. I'm so grateful that I started my business. I'm so grateful that I worked hard. That's what I recommend. If you've got a few hours for free, make a business. Just try it. I know it's easier said than done. It's like, it's hard to do. But at the very least, if you're putting in 1-2 hours a day into learning about it, into figuring it out, when you do make some progress, you're going to feel very proud of yourself the same way you do when you go to the gym. Do the hard work, especially when you don't feel like it. Mwah.